Listen, can we be brutally honest for a second? You're probably watching this while simultaneously having 17 tabs open, a to-do list that would make a CEO weep, and that familiar knot in your stomach that shows up every time you think about money. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this tiny, almost embarrassing hope that maybe, just maybe, there's a different way to do this whole prosperity thing. Spoiler alert, there is, and it's going to sound so simple you might actually get mad at me. But before you click away thinking this is another one of those just think positive and money will rain from the sky videos, let me tell you what this isn't. This isn't about denying your bills exist. This isn't about pretending your bank account is full when it's running on fumes. And this definitely isn't about some magical secret that only works for people who already have money. What this is about is understanding why you've been working twice as hard for half the results, and why prosperity feels like trying to run up a down escalator while carrying groceries and wearing roller skates. Here's what nobody tells you. You've been playing a rigged game, and you're the one who rigged it. Not on purpose, obviously. Nobody wakes up and decides to make their life harder. But somewhere between childhood and now, you downloaded a bunch of faulty instructions about how money works, what you have to do to get it, and whether you're even allowed to have it in the first place. These instructions are running in the background like malware, quietly sabotaging every effort you make. And the really messed up part? You don't even know they're there. You just wonder why everyone else seems to have figured out this prosperity thing while you're still out here doing mathematical gymnastics every time you go to the grocery store. I need you to know something before we go any further. I get it. I understand what it's like to feel like you're doing everything right and still coming up short. I know about the 3M panic spirals where you calculate and recalculate and somehow the numbers still don't add up. I know about smiling and saying you're fine while internally screaming because another unexpected expense just appeared like an uninvited guest at a party you can barely afford to throw. I see the exhaustion in your eyes from working so hard for so little. I feel the frustration of watching people who seem to put in half the effort get twice the reward. And I absolutely understand the bone-deep weariness of constantly having to think about money. So if you're sitting there feeling like a failure, like you're the only one who can't crack the code, like there's something fundamentally wrong with you, stop. Right now, stop. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not being punished. You're just operating with bad software. And today we're going to start the upgrade. Let's cut to the heart of what's really happening here, because the core challenge isn't that you're lazy or unlucky or cosmically unfavored. The challenge is that you've been taught to relate to prosperity the same way you'd relate to a wild animal, with suspicion, fear, and the assumption that if you get too close, it'll bite. Think about it. When was the last time something good happened financially and your first thought wasn't, how long will this last? Or, what's going to go wrong now? Or, this is too good to be true? We've been conditioned to expect the other shoe to drop so thoroughly that we practically hold it above our own heads, ready to drop it ourselves just to get it over with. And this matters. This really matters, because you can't receive something you're braced against. It's like trying to catch water while wearing oven mitts. The abundance might be right there, but you're fundamentally not equipped to hold it. Now let me explain something that might blow your mind a little bit. There's actual science behind why this keeps happening, and it's not some new age nonsense, it's neuroscience. Your brain has this thing called a confirmation bias, which is essentially its way of proving itself right. Whatever you believe to be true, your brain will find evidence for. If you believe prosperity is hard, your brain becomes a detective searching for proof of hardship. It'll notice every financial setback, every missed opportunity, every person who seems to have it easier. Meanwhile, it'll completely filter out evidence to the contrary: the free coffee, the unexpected refund, the discount you got, the thing that didn't break down when it probably should have. Your brain literally doesn't register these things as important because they don't fit the narrative. It's not even being malicious. It's just doing its job, which is to create a coherent story about reality. Problem is, the story you've given it to work with is garbage. There's also this concept from physics, and I swear I'll make this relevant, about how energy flows where attention goes. Not in a mystical sense, but in a completely practical one. If you spend all your mental energy focused on scarcity, on what you don't have, on how hard everything is, that's where your creative problem solving goes. That's where your emotional resources go. That's where your actual physical energy goes. You become so good at spotting problems that you develop problem vision. Meanwhile, opportunities could be doing a tap dance in front of you, and you wouldn't notice because you're too busy staring at the obstacles. People who seem to attract prosperity easily, they're not special. They're not blessed. They just have their attention tuned to a different frequency. They're looking for solutions and possibilities instead of confirmation of how hard everything is. Here's where we get practical, because theory without application is just mental decoration. I'm going to walk you through a complete reprogramming process, and I need you to actually do these things, not just nod along and forget about them in 20 minutes. First thing, you're going to start catching your language. Not to punish yourself, we're done with that nonsense, but to notice. For the next 48 hours, every time you say or think something about money, I want you to pause and ask yourself, is this programming scarcity or abundance? When you say, I can't afford that, you're programming scarcity. When you say, I'm choosing not to buy that right now, you're programming choice, which is a form of abundance. See the difference? Same situation, completely different energy. When you say, I'm so broke, you're making a declaration about your identity. When you say, my cash flow is tight this month, you're acknowledging a temporary situation. Words matter, not because they're magic spells, but because they're instructions to your subconscious about what to expect and what to look for. Second, you're going to create what I call a prosperity highlight reel. Get a notebook, use your phone, I don't care, but every single day you're going to document one moment when prosperity showed up. And we're not waiting for the big stuff here. Maybe someone let you merge in traffic, that's prosperity in the form of kindness. Maybe you found a parking spot right away, that's prosperity in the form of ease. Maybe your internet didn't cut out during an important call, that's prosperity in the form of things working smoothly. The point is to train your brain to recognize that good things are constantly happening, because they are. You've just been too busy cataloging the problems to notice. Do this for 30 days, and your entire perception will shift. I'm not exaggerating. 30 days of intentional noticing will rewire your neural pathways. Third, you need to change your relationship with receiving. Most of us are absolutely terrible at this. Someone offers to pay for lunch and we practically wrestle them for the check. Someone compliments us and we deflect it like we're dodging bullets. Someone tries to help and we say, no, I've got it, even when we clearly don't. Every single time you do this, you're sending a message to the universe, and more importantly to yourself, that you don't accept good things, that you're not worthy of ease, that receiving makes you uncomfortable or indebted or weak. So here's your practice. For 1 week, accept everything offered to you that doesn't violate your boundaries or values. Someone wants to buy your coffee? Say thank you. Someone compliments your work? Say thank you. Someone offers advice or help? Say thank you. No qualifications, no deflecting, no immediately trying to reciprocate, just receive. Notice how incredibly uncomfortable this is at first. That discomfort is old programming dying, and it's supposed to feel weird. Fourth, you're going to use the affirmation, but not like a robot. Not like you're trying to convince yourself of a lie. You're going to say, prosperity flows to me easily and effortlessly, as a question to your brain. Every morning, say it and then ask yourself, where did I see evidence of this yesterday? Your brain loves questions. It'll start hunting for answers. At night, say it again and ask, where did this show up today? Even in tiny ways, even in ways that seem insignificant. The cash register person who gave you an extra napkin without you asking, that's ease. The friend who texted exactly when you needed to hear from someone, that's flow. You're retraining your awareness to spot the current of prosperity that's been there all along. Fifth, clean up your money mess. And I mean this both literally and energetically. If your wallet is a crumpled disaster, fix it. If you avoid looking at your bank account, stop. If you pay bills with resentment and anger, shift it. You cannot simultaneously treat money like garbage and expect it to stick around. Would you want to hang out with someone who treated you with contempt? No? Then why would money? I want you to create a ritual around money. When you pay bills, say, "Thank you for this electricity that keeps my food cold and my home comfortable." When money comes in, acknowledge it. Welcome. I appreciate you. When you organize your wallet, do it with care, like you're preparing a home for a valued guest. This isn't silly. This is changing the energetic signature of your relationship with prosperity. Sixth, you need to get honest about your money stories. We all have them. My family was poor, so I'll always struggle. Rich people are greedy. Money is the root of all evil. I'm just not good with money. Easy money never lasts. These stories are playing on repeat in your subconscious, and they're creating your reality. So write them down, all of them. Every stupid, limiting, fear-based story you've been carrying around like luggage you forgot to put down, look at them. Really look at them. And then ask yourself, is this actually true, or is this just something I learned? Most of the time, these aren't truths, they're just hand-me-down beliefs from people who had their own struggles and limitations. You're allowed to put them down. You're allowed to write new stories. Seventh, visualize, but make it visceral. Close your eyes and imagine what it feels like, not looks like, feels like when prosperity flows easily. Maybe it's the exhale of relief when you check your account and there's more than you expected. Maybe it's the confidence of saying yes to something without checking the price first. Maybe it's the peace of knowing you have a cushion, a buffer, breathing room. Get into your body with this. Where do you feel it? What does ease feel like in your chest, your shoulders, your stomach? Spend 3 minutes every day in this feeling, not wishing for it, not hoping for it, inhabiting it. Your nervous system can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Use this. Eighth, take aligned action. And this is crucial. Aligned action doesn't feel like forcing or pushing or grinding. It feels like a natural next step. It feels like, oh, this makes sense. Maybe you see a job posting that actually excites you. Maybe you get an idea for a side project that feels fun instead of obligatory. Maybe you reach out to someone because it genuinely feels right, not because you're desperate. Follow those nudges. Those are prosperity trying to flow through you, but it needs your cooperation. It needs you to open doors, make calls, send emails, show up. Affirmations without action are just pretty words, but action infused with the energy of ease and expectation, that's when magic happens. Now let's talk about what's going to try to stop you, because it will. Your old patterns are comfortable, they're familiar. Even if they're painful, they're what you know. So when you start doing this work, your brain is going to throw a tantrum. It's going to say, this is stupid, this isn't working, nothing's changing, you're wasting your time. That voice is loud and convincing and persistent. Expect it. Plan for it. And when it shows up, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then do the work anyway. Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. But you know what else is uncomfortable? Staying stuck in the same financial stress for the rest of your life. Pick your uncomfortable. You're also going to have setbacks. A bill you forgot about will show up. Your car will make a weird noise. Something will break. This doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, or that prosperity isn't real, or that you're cursed. It just means you're human and life happens. The difference is how you respond. Old you would spiral, panic, take it as evidence that nothing ever works out. New you acknowledges it, handles it as best you can, and keeps the faith that prosperity is still flowing. One setback doesn't stop the river. It's just a rock in the stream. The water keeps moving. Here's something nobody tells you about this journey. It's not linear. Some days you'll feel abundant and confident and totally aligned. Other days you'll feel broke and scared and like you've learned nothing. Both are okay. Both are part of the process. You don't have to be perfect at this. You just have to keep choosing it over and over, even when it feels pointless, especially when it feels pointless. Because the moments when you choose abundance thinking, despite all evidence to the contrary, those are the moments that create the biggest shifts. Let me give you something concrete to do right now. Put your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That's prosperity right there, a heart that keeps going without you having to think about it, lungs that breathe, a body that functions. You are already abundant in ways that matter. Start there. Build from there. Say out loud, prosperity flows to me easily and effortlessly. Say it again and again. Let it feel awkward. Let it feel fake. Say it anyway. You're planting seeds. They don't look like much at first, but trust me, they're growing. Drop a comment and tell me one money belief you inherited that you're ready to release. Put it out there. Name it. When you speak your truth, you break its power over you. And your honesty might give someone else permission to do the same. If this hit different, if something in you shifted even slightly, subscribe, because we're going deep on this channel. We're rewiring decades of conditioning. We're learning to live like people who expect good things because they know they're worthy of them. And that work takes time, consistency, and community. Share this with someone who's grinding themselves into dust trying to make prosperity happen through force. Share it with someone who's forgotten that life can be easy. Share it with someone who needs permission to want more and expect better. Here's my final truth for you today. Prosperity isn't something you achieve. It's something you allow. It's already here, already available, already flowing. You just built walls around yourself without realizing it, walls made of old beliefs and borrowed fears and stories that were never yours to carry. Today, we started taking those walls down, brick by brick. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to see things differently, willing to try something new, willing to believe that maybe, possibly, you deserve ease. Prosperity flows to you easily and effortlessly. Not because you've earned it, not because you've suffered enough, but because that's the natural order of things when you stop blocking it. The river wants to flow. Let it. Your abundant life is right there, waiting for you to claim it. And I'll be here, cheering you on every single step of the way.